opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Goodness gracious. You know what? You're back with David Mackey showing us that on freedomslips.com on the number one listener-supported talk radio on the net. So push the donate button or subscribe to the archives for free. It is nothing. It costs nothing to access the archives. And you can download all the shows in MP3 format and binge them in your own time. It's really good for traveling or just sitting and if you've got some idle time in your life, download some shows, have a listen. And there's so many varying opinions and show types and conversations that you're more than likely able to be guaranteed to find something that you like. That's probably the best way that I can put it, because I'm not guaranteeing 100%, but you should be able to find something you like. And if you do, don't forget to let the host know. Drop into the chat room while they're on air in their time slot. You should be able to tell what time slot it is given the timestamp on the file that you download, or through using the schedule, you can identify the host show name and look and find something, make contact with them in some way through the chat room. And there you go. If they have their own archive like we do on YouTube, then do find it and comment. Like and subscribe. But we ask you this crucial activity. We ask you to perform this crucial activity. And that is that you share this with others. Do tell people about Revolution Radio, because the more people that listen, the more likely we can allow people to discern the information or become discerning about the information they receive, where the source is or who the source is, and for them to make their own decisions in life. And if we can do that, that's kind of winning, I think. That was one thing that Nighthawk, the owner of the station, the founder of freedomslips.com and Revolution Radio, that's what instilled in me. He said over, in a private conversation, something to that extent. There were beautiful words that he said, not like I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to ask you to get some merch from the station's website. There's plenty of stuff there to choose from. You'll probably find something you like. And do that for the station's benefit, because we don't get paid. The station doesn't have any sponsors. If you're willing to be a sponsor for our show or any other shows, do get in contact with the host and organize some kind of sponsorship or something. It all goes a long way towards helping the station or the hosts. And it isn't free. I know that they run cloud servers now, and there's software licensing, and there's transmission, and there's data, or bandwidths that you have to pay for depending on what kind of service you have in the cloud. All of that costs money. There's contributors towards the station who are helping, but every little bit matters. So do share, talk about it with your friends, maybe some of the ideas, see if they're willing to listen to the things that you've heard from us, or it resonates with you. If there's other people that resonate with that information as well, do share the show. It doesn't have to be my show. It could be anything. But it's the station will appreciate the listenership building, and that growth will lend to the success of the station. And we're going to ask you to, we're going to actually not ask, we're going to tell you, thank you very much for listening to Revolution Radio and inviting us into your life. Now, we're halfway through, can you believe it? Show number 561. If Meki were here, despite him driving currently, he might actually be listening to the show. And if you are, hey Meki, I will hang on a minute. It's so challenging to there's new Skype. Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can merge it. Let's see if that did the trick. No. Goodness me. It's crazy now, the new Skype, because there we go. I can add a person in. Let me see. Yes, I've added our guest in. Thank you very much for calling in. I'm just going to finish the title and then we'll go straight to it. So this is show number 561. This is the second hour, and we are going to start a round table. If you're willing to call in, I'm happy to talk with you. If it's a round table and there's more than the two of us, try to limit any response to about 2 minutes and be willing to pass that microphone or the talking stick on to the next person or back to me as the host. I'm happy to audit that as it goes around. If there's more than one person, just sit tight and I'll ask the same question of each person, just as you would any other talk show with numbers of guests. So, I don't know how to introduce you. Actually, I don't know how. So how about you introduce yourself? Welcome to Shiny Side Out.
Take your tongue and you move it around and you adjust your lips at the same time and you speak it and you say, Pony.
Oh, is that how you do it? Well, see, Pony, I didn't know it was you.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no reference to you anywhere.
Yeah, just chaos or whatever.
Yeah. And in fact, I like that. I like chaos. To me, that's the Maxwell Smart chaos.
I don't know how to spell it anyway. So.
No, but that's perfect. That's the way they...
How you been?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. That's the way they spelled it in the show. Because there was control and chaos.
Oh, yes, you can get smart, yeah.
Yeah, get smart. Yeah.
That was the punchline too.
Yeah.
Control chaos, you better get smart.
There you
Control
go.
chaos.
Yeah. As above, so below.
I've got something, a little bit.
What do you got?
Got me tweeting.
Uh-oh.
Well, you were talking about the blockchain earlier.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, I was thinking about the reset as well. And I was thinking differently.
Oh.
It's just an idea, so it's probably not too different from your concept or anyone else's.
You've
for
got
that
the
matter.
floor. Go ahead.
Well, I think, so the price of an egg in Australia is different to the price of an egg in America.
Mm-hmm.
So for this great reset to happen, everything has to reset, and it's basically resetting the price of goods to another nomination. So what used to be 60 cents here and 80 cents over there now will cost everyone in the world. One egg will cost one token of a certain cryptocurrency that potentially has an X in it. So
yes.
So that's a great reset. I'm thinking everything will be reset commodity-wise, and everything will be the exact same price across the globe.
Yes. The difficulty is that some countries have some extraordinary inflation numbers. Like 1,000,000%, yeah. They're in hyperinflation right now. Some have, no taxes, no levies, no, excises. The competition is excluded. The government has doesn't care about it, and so
you're making the point earlier about just printing a zero and then putting a one in front of it or behind it or whatever, and
it doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't, but it does to the guys who know that secret, who know there's going to be a lunar eclipse every month and can scare everyone else because they have more of that credit or knowledge than everyone else. Speaking of eclipses, full moon's coming up, December 7th.
Oh.
Do you know what that date's famous for?
No, what is it?
December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. So anniversary, it will be 81 years. Now, on that particular day, coming up on December 7th, 2022, we have a full moon. Now, it will vary where you are on the planet. It may be the 6th somewhere. It may be the 8th. Yeah? Let's not get too precise. On that same day, on the 7th, we have a full moon, and Mars, there's a couple of rare events apparently. Mars will go behind the moon, visible with our own naked eye. It will disappear for an hour. It hasn't done this
tremendous.
For a certain amount of time. I forget the details. The other thing, so we get a full moon. I think there's a partial eclipse. I can't remember. We get Mars occultation, I think. It goes behind the moon, it disappears while the moon's at its brightest and while Mars is actually at its closest point to Earth in its orbit. So it's like amplified. Everything's amplified on the 7th. And I only mentioned Pearl Harbor because I like slapping on those anniversary dates of big false flag events, you know? I don't know what's going to happen. We've got Elon Musk making the run, man. This is incredible what's been happening with Kanye and Chappelle, mate. I thought Chappelle took the cake, and then you see Kanye.
Oh, he as a euchre term, he trumped that one.
Now,
I want to get to that. I want to get to that shortly, right? So, just park the Kanye for a minute. There is
no West for the wicked.
Oh, I love it. So, Reuters put a story out 2 days ago, which was the US CFTC head urges Congress to act fast on crypto regulation. Now, there was a segue off the story about the air taxis and the regulation, and I kind of didn't get to this one, but since we were talking about, the Great Reset and the global currency, and it'll all be digital, there won't be any printed money anymore. That crypto regulation is way late, and it'll be completely ineffective. That's what's going to end up happening. And this is the same kind of conversation that we would have if there was, an AI, right? If there was an AI, the AI is like, just in a let's pretend for a minute in a really crazy scenario, the AI has already subdued humans into some kind of crazy slavery. And then the government, who is just about to be disbanded by the AI, decides that they're then going to begin discussions on an AI regulation. Right? It's too late. It's too late. I've got a bunch of crypto that I've been using. I've just been mining crypto. I haven't done anything else. What I'm actually doing, I don't know. What does mining crypto really mean for each one of the coins? I question this greatly because I don't know. No one can actually tell me what packet where did the packet come from that I'm looking at and trying to get close to a solution. Answer. Because it could be the Department of Defense's security certificate. I don't know.
Cicada. Cicada. Remember the internet phenom Cicada?
Yes.
It's got CIA in it.
I know.
In your face.
So has Bitcoin, I'm not saying it does, it's a question. Has Bitcoin been, or any other one of the coins, been handing out bits of information, not bits, but packets of information, I want to be accurate in my question, so that we can break some cryptography somewhere and it's unbeknownst to the person doing the mining, because you're not digging a hole, and it's not Minecraft, right? I haven't had to formulate a wooden thing into a stone thing into a steel thing into a whatever the other one is, a diamond axe, in order to be able to mine stuff underground, which is fictitious anyway. You're just running CPU processing to try and get closer to cracking some algorithm. That's all you're doing. And that disturbs me greatly, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. What is my computer doing?
You're working for the CIA and you don't even know it.
Yeah. I'm sure there would be some three-letter agencies who have created this distributed processing, is what it's called, of cracking stuff. Am I cracking a nation state, certificate? I don't know. Is it three-letter agency led? I don't know.
Yeah, well, you got to think people don't. I'm still not knowledgeable in all that stuff, but I have, I've read some things here and there, and it's like, okay, if that's that, then so what you're mining is a 256-bit algorithm, like a hash code, right? This giant serial number barcode. Now, it is like a barcode where a little patch on your box of cereal has, lines and numbers, but that little 1 kilobyte of information can tell you 10,000 kilobytes of information when you scan it with your proper machine. So
that's right.
Essentially, the miners, they're mining something that is a 250-bit string of information, which apparently is actually a zip file. And behind that is actually a massive wall of information. It's just condensed into the 256-bit code. And so the miners, more so probably military miners, your local kid on the block, he ain't going to be doing much, man. But I assume. So with the graphics processors that they're using, to me, it seems like the string of information behind it is a bunch of data. What is that data? Is it what you just said? Is it we're trying to crack other nations' satellite codes? This is that. I think it's far bigger, and that it's just accessing the whole world's data through these mining operations, which are all linked together at some level, because
the
they
distributed
all have
processing of having 500,000 people processing their own little packet, not knowing what the big picture is just off scale. That is
Johnny Lee isn't buying a factory to set up servers. That's got to be government or institutional money.
Yeah, exactly right. I know. So and when you're seeing how big these facilities are with so many of these miners in it, there is some big, remember, you're getting rewarded in coin. There's a financial reward for performing these tasks.
Yep.
That's a given. So
Disneyland token.
Well, you can always sell them and get real money out of it, but a lot of people didn't sell, and we're seeing the crypto market has gone down by, I think we're at $72 out of 100 right now. So it's dropped 30%. It's dropped in reasonable amount of value, but it's broken some people already, and there's a lot of deaths. There's 3 crypto billionaires that are all just up and dead now for some reason. They're all mysterious deaths. Anyway, so regulation is going to be way too late and be ineffectual anyway, and I don't see how that's going to fix anything. I think just, young kids got in early, mined a whole bunch, invested money, and ended up being, having to be
Can I say something to that?
Forced into the super rich realm of people, which surprised the super rich. I think that's really what everyone got upset about.
Yeah. So for me, it's like the PNAC agreement. It was written before they required it. So a lot of regulations were put in place before, or were suggested, put on the table by companies like Ripple, who do XRP. all about the regulations. Brad Garlinghouse, who's like a CEO of Ripple, he's got into connections with the IMF banking system. It's everywhere now. So if regulations were going to be put in place, they were already pre-written. I would suggest also it's a mental thing. As they are going into this blockchain, it's quite a lawless town. And so by them notifying you that there's criminals in this town, we're going to do something, it's safe to now move into our town. Bitcoin town or
So this is to set some ground rules around it.
Yeah, it's always setting up
and stop
something
it
else
being
and setting
lawless.
up something else. Especially the big play with that FTX thing, which I'd never even heard of, man. I must have joined 50 sites in the last 2 years, maybe 150. No jokes. Did all the KYC, passport, everything, and never heard of FTX. And it was like, when it all went down, just it was a bit of a shock because, so don't know. But definitely, it's got more in the brain, and regulations, while may not mean anything, it's in the mind that something needs to be done about this town. That's all I suggest.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So where were you when you? I'm gonna open the Kanye box. So where were you when you learned of the Kanye interview with Alex Jones?
I won't. I don't know, actually.
Okay.
I can't remember the specific area.
I asked that like where were you when JFK was shot or Michael Jackson died, or you know what I mean? It's one of those life-changing events that you can't unsee.
Well, I thought the Chappelle one was too.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
I thought like this is it. We're at the pinnacle now. There's no going back. But I also thought, because he did jokingly say it is the year Sha-na-na-na-na, i.e. Shemitah year, and Shemitah years are about forgiveness. So it wouldn't surprise me if, especially the Chappelle one, it was more like what you see celebrities, how they roast each other. They say the most heinous things. But it's all, once a year, you got to get roasted. It's part of the club. And so I think Chappelle could get away with that, roasting. We'll let that one go. But this Kanye West one. Now, he didn't point out. He should have pointed out. Who's he been listening to? He doesn't listen to Jonesy Boy, because Jonesy's never on this Netanyahu Israel Jew thing. So who the hell's Kanye been listening to, mate?
That's right. So is there someone even more extreme? Right. That's a really good question. So
I don't know.
So just for those who don't know, it was about 2 days. It was 2 days ago, wasn't it?
This past week's been massive.
Yeah, it's been completely nuts, right? Now, Kanye West appeared on the Alex Jones show, and if you're watching this on YouTube, and I'm not clicking any of the links, I just did, all I typed in was Alex Jones Ye, as Y-E, that's it, and up came the story that I think is really important. Kanye West was wearing black gloves and a black balaclava with no breathing holes or cutouts. It was just basically like a black stocking over his head. I'm sure it cost him a fortune because he's got enough money to pay for anything. He could buy the studio. He could buy Alex Jones completely, 100%. By him, his family, every building he owned, the studio, no one's going to question it. But here we have one of the most extreme admissions and comments that I think I've heard from any popular person. Something in the line of, a celebrity saying that they believe in the flat earth. But this is, wow, this is like levels.
He wasn't even drunk.
No.
I could give you one guy, Mel Gibson.
Yes. Oh, yes. I remember that.
But he was drunk.
Yeah. And David Hasselhoff.
Full of rage.
Yeah. Remember David Hasselhoff on the floor eating a hamburger he dropped? I suppose that, you remember that. Yeah. So the anti-Semitic rant from Mel Gibson was extraordinary. This one,
For its time.
for its time, yeah. So
This one's like the elephant in the room, and everyone's like clenched up.
yeah, yeah. So look, there's a story here from newmatilda.com, and it says, we watched Kanye West interview with Alex Jones, so you didn't have to. It kind of says everything you need to know. Okay, they've typed up the minutes of the broadcast between a conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones, and rapper turned anti-Semite Kanye West, and white supremacist Nick Fuentes on Jones's InfoWars show earlier this week. I'm not going to be careful what I read, but I watched some, not all of it, and I think the cherry-picked parts of this are what people you may encounter around a barbecue setting in the backyard of your friend's house, where some conversations may get a little broad or deep, or you might call it scale up or scale out. I'm in IT. And maybe get more extreme depending on who you are. And if you've had a lot of drinks under your belt, or we call it a skinful in Australia, if you had a skinful, you might start blurting out things that you've, maybe good sense should say not to. However,
oh yeah, I've done that before.
yeah. I know. I've said things too. So Kanye, this is a comment here. Kanye and Alex then agreed Kanye was a bit like Jesus, because Jesus went and visited convicted rapists Kelly and Harvey Weinstein in prison. And there's a fact check here that says there is no record of Jesus Christ having visited either man in prison. So the fact check is actually quite funny, because I don't think R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein existed back in Jesus' time. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of things. He called out Zionists and
the Netanyahu, that was
magic.
Yeah. He pulled out a net and a bottle of Yahoo. He's like, they gonna kill my kids in the plane crash. Oh my God, I still can't believe it. This Trump thing, this Kanye and now Jones, this is something. I think it is attached to that perhaps Third World War, if we go with an Albert Pike mindset.
Yeah.
This is attached to it somehow in the big picture. Long run.
I agree, Pony. So
it's heavenly Christianized, that side at least.
Yes, it is. And one thing that Mecky and I have pointed out is that it appears to us, because of history, we're watching the Ukraine being supported by the West because they are Christians in a democracy. And that's pretty much it. It isn't Christians in an autocracy, because we've backed out of those. We've not supported those from the West. And everyone's on board to support democracies. This is the stacks on experience in a brawl. There's a very slim reference to why you're supporting one team in a brawl to the other, and that it appears to be that's how slim this is. And everyone's giving weapons to them to fight against either you can call it communism or autocracy, or I don't care what you call it. That's how polarized this is, and I think that's where this is coming from as well. Alex, and this is, I'm just going to dot. They stopped talking about Jesus. Alex then claimed that there are good people from every culture. The left offend him by calling him a Nazi because he also almost didn't exist, because both his grandfathers fought in World War II And if they had died, he wouldn't have been born. So obviously he can't be a Nazi. Some crazy. Kanye then described himself and Nick and someone named Alexander as the SWAT team of free thought. Now, Kanye has been known to place himself on pedestals in the past, and I don't think this is any less than that. I believe he's just running to his battle plan. He says Kanye is the person with the battle ram at the door, and then Fuentes and Alexander come in with laser beams of information. The whole thing seems very word salady. He wasn't saying anything particular about anything in particular. He wasn't focusing on anything precisely. I just think that it appeared to me that Kanye has fallen off the reality bandwagon. Why he anonymized himself with his black gloves, like mittens, like stockings, and the head stocking is beyond me. He's an artist. We didn't question,
well, to be fair,
Lady Gaga's meat dress, right? Sure,
no, but
an artist.
He does that during his shows. He wears all those mask costumes and all
Does
that.
he?
I don't know why either, but
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I thought he's wearing black over his skin, and my only thought was, I think this guy's way out there. He's well past where I am. If I was on a limb, he's at the tip of the limb, and I'm basically holding onto the tree on a different branch. My goodness, I thought he was already black. He was already African American. But if I was wearing that same outfit, I think I would get a lot more heat than he got.
I don't think the James Webb Telescope even saw that one.
So to be honest, I'm not having a go at any color. It's not a thing about color here. I just can't see the value and the point he was making by wearing that. If someone can help me out in my YouTube, if someone's able to inform me more about the origin of that would be really helpful.
I would go with scanning my memory bank without sound, without audio, and reasoning, and try to picture where I've seen that before. And the closest thing that resembles it
what you come up with
is a terrorist or an ISIS fighter.
Yeah,
think about the terrorist in the Arnie movie where they're in the silhouette shadow.
Yeah.
She smacks her hand, and then she does that to her son, he realizes, oh, it's her, it's not him. So, like, again, I think they're gonna pull off ISIS for a future event, and this could be foreshadowing that in a simulated sense. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a little echo of a D-Wave reality. It's a part of a future part. So that's only a theory. Don't
no, I get it. It's kind of like a future echo.
Yeah,
an echo from the future rather than the
past.
A
story.
Yeah.
We'll have our super, because right now you got to think like too that they run the world like a movie. So they have their villains and heroes. And what do villains do in movies when they attack? They attack on the most prominent day, the most anniversary day, the most sporting day. So we're still in the World Cup. Qatar, terrorist nation. No, it's not. I was joking, but I actually don't know. And also Christmas coming up, so that would be another watch date. As in the movie, the villain's most likely to do something on Christmas. I just asked Bruce Willis. I don't know, but.
Well, yeah, he saved us a number of times at Christmas. So, and I've actually heard him say that movie in particular is not a Christmas movie. He said it himself, but it takes part at Christmas, and the rest of the world.
Christmas time, yeah.
The rest of the world has said that that's not true. It is a Christmas movie, and
I think we want it to be, because all the other Christmas movies are Home Alone.
So
Who
our
is that?
family actually watch it on Christmas Eve. We watch it every year.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Yeah.
You know, I think it's really good. We all enjoy it as a Christmas movie. To us, that's actually pretty cool.
Macaulay Culkin with a Glock 17.
Yeah. I saw them. He did a comedy piece the other day about what it would be like if he did it now. And
Who, Bruce or Macaulay?
Macaulay Culkin. And so his parents go out, and he's ordered, Uber or something, or Uber Eats, and he's got all the home automation, and all the cardboard cutouts are sitting on like Robovacs, all moving around and dancing around, and everything's automated, full house automation. He's just typing it all away. And when the crooks turn up out the front, they see like a house full of people, pretty much, with all the home automation, and just drive on. It's actually really funny. And he's just sitting there by himself, as a mature person.
Yeah, they could have done some wicked stuff with that idea.
Yeah, they really could have.
Several parodies there.
Yeah.
Idiocracy style.
I think it was more an ad for like Uber Eats or something than anything. That's all I could determine from watching it. So
Gotcha.
the whole point about the anti-Semitism, I could not see how that was being called out. That was the thing that everyone, they all complained about it, but I really couldn't see where that was coming from in there. I think he's a nut. I think he's a nutter. I think, look, if he wants to make a point like this and do it on Alex's show, I mean, think twice, mate. You've got your own platforms. You could do this in your own concert. What's it matter? Why are you doing it there? But then what you said, I think, in that Future Echo kind of thing, radio in your head, what is really going to happen somehow, somewhere, I don't know. Maybe that's...
Well, Dave Chappelle said it. He went DEFCON 3 on the Jews. But even Chappelle had a dig, man, because he's like, the video clip I saw, they edited a little bit out. I'm not sure if that was the guy who did it, but just after that, he's like, yeah, there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood. A lot. I mean, a lot. Like, he made it a point, man.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a lot of black people in Ferguson. Doesn't mean they run the place.
That's right. That's right. So him and he calls it out, but it's not... So I didn't see that as anti-Semitism. He's making a point about it. I like Dave Chappelle. I think we should always, maintain a funny bone. I think we should always see things with the humor intended in what it is. Even though comedy is finds the line, the social line of acceptance and non-acceptance in its work, and that's what it's designed to do. If you had a piece of paper and there was an etch on the desk beneath it, and you rub the pencil across it sideways, you'll see the pattern of that etch beneath, right? Yeah, Pony? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, oh, I see. So when you're trying to shade on something to expose the etch beneath, that's what comedy does. It finds that line. That's the social line of which you cross or you don't cross. But the only way to detect where it is right now is to make those jokes on either side and see where people fall into being comfortable and laughing about the situation they're in. I think if we don't laugh at ourselves, we're in all sorts of problems. If you take yourself far too seriously, it's the end of you.
Yeah, the Chappelle thing, it did get a little bit uncomfortable a couple of points. And he was at SNL. They're going to have certain staff and people,
Oh, yeah, you've got to understand who runs the network.
There was two musicians behind him
that
you could feel. You could see the quivering of uncomfortableness in them.
Yeah. If you've ever wanted to be beamed up, right, by Scotty in the control room of the Star Trek Enterprise, that's the moment, right? And yes, it's visible on their face. You're on live television and someone's saying something that's really making you uncomfortable. Help, right? I want to leave now, right? Thanks for zooming in on my face. Yeah, and getting my reaction. Yeah, that's great. Great edit. Thank you, director. Look, but saying that, I'm not saying that I support what Kanye, because I don't support what Kanye West says. For me, he's on a fringe that I don't share. I don't mind that he has a platform and he's super wealthy independently, that he's talking about things like this. He has probably more connection to what's really going on than I do, even with all my research. Dave Chappelle can make jokes about anything he wishes. I don't have a problem with it. I think the moment we start cancelling people because of what their opinion is, I think we've already left that. That train's left the station. But we're suggesting that it's okay to do that. And when you get to have to speak out because you disagree with what they're doing to others, there's no one left to help you. And that's a real butchering of that World War II poem. You know, first they came for the lawyers, then they came for blah, blah, blah. And when they came for me, there was no one to hear me and help me. Right? We don't want that to happen. Free speech is meant to be a thing. And if you don't like it, don't listen to it. That's as in the olden days, it meant having to get up out of your chair, walk over to the television, and change the channel. Now we have a remote, and now on the internet, you just don't have to click it. Don't click on it. Do something else with your life. I don't know. Go outside. Watch the other video next to it on YouTube if you're so inclined. But don't complain that it exists.
Get an account on Omegle. You can have conversations with people across the world and say the most cruelest things you can think of.
Oh, you can see things you never intended to ever see in your entire life too. So don't be shocked. Boy, yeah. I'm not on that site anymore.
Well, one level of us is too that I think a lot of us keep a lot of real truth to ourselves. Just simple little truths like, you know, your gut's getting a bit big there, pony, or you know,
I'm in that
a little
group.
bit grey there, pony, or you got a little bit of a pong about your pony. You know, that truth hurts, and I do hold a lot back. You know, what if I just want to tell the chick I think she's a truth because I'm thinking that, but I don't tell her the truth about what I'm thinking. I need to.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You know, if there was, I heard this joke. I think it was Ricky Gervais, and I want to give him the credit. If it was him, I don't know who it was. I watch a lot.
It was Carl Pilkington.
I haven't said the joke yet, right? It's a very touchy subject, and that was during the height of the terrorist high alert in our respective countries. Is when the joke was formulated. It was repeated, historically through a YouTube video that I was watching, and I don't remember the artist that made the joke, so I apologize in advance. But it brought me back to an event that I had experienced, and if I think back to the event, we'd all been heightened. I was on a bus. We'd all been heightened by the media and the fear of a terrorist attack. And in Sydney, there was some heightened terrorist attack and advice, and everyone was panicking, right? It was close to 2001. It was probably 2002 or 3 or something like that. Anyway, so I'm on the bus, and a guy is muttering to himself. He is of Middle Eastern appearance. He is fully sweating and clutching onto a bag against his chest. That's all that was happening. Nothing more at all. He wasn't praising Allah. He wasn't yelling out at the top of his voice. He was simply, I would probably say, an obsessed person, obsessed with whatever was in his mind, and he was in a loop, and he couldn't escape the loop, and that happens to people. some people, whether they're a bag man or pushing a trolley with all their worldly possessions in front of worldly possessions inside the trolley, if they're just wearing cardboard or a bin liner, I don't mind. I respect that you've lost your way at some point. You're in a loop. You can't escape it. That's the end of you. You've used to have a family. You used to be able to uphold a job. Now you're living in a cardboard box under a freeway overpass, right? I get it.
Talking about me?
Hey,
Are you
honey.
still talking about a joke?
Yes, I'm talking about the joke. So the comedian, I've got to build it up so I don't look so bad, right? That's what I have to do.
Good luck with that.
So I'm so far towards the edge of the what was it called in the olden days on the ships when you were walking the plank. So I'm so close to the edge of the end of the plank. I've got a blindfolded a cigarette already, right? And I'm about to topple over the edge. I recognize that. But in my defense, there was a lot of stuff going on in the world, and it was a frightening place, and people were over panicked. And when the fellow a couple of seats from me, people vacated around his seat, the one muttering to himself, clutching the bag and sweating profusely. And I concerned myself for a moment with the imminent doom that if he was to detonate the explosive on the bus that I was riding on, how my body would be fragmented into parts, because I've seen what kind of explosives, and if it was a bag full of C4, I think we'd all be gone, right? Him included. He'd just be misted. But anyway, that was running through my head. So forward to just this week, I was watching a video from the past, and it was an American comedian or British comedian talking about some times in their life where their jokes had gone a bit hard, right? And one of those was this joke about a person of Middle Eastern appearance on a bus, repeating the words of Allah over and over again, and everybody got off the bus. So this was a joke about that, and he said that he didn't know what stop he was at or anything, and everyone just, when the bus drove away, and the guy's still on it, everyone just looked at each other, having survived this, and it was funny when the guy said it. It's not funny when I said it, when I just did the setup about all the fear and everything. But he was making a point about when we were panicked like that and how unnecessary it was. And we were panicked about everybody doing everything wrong. But really, nothing took place. And we were just super paranoid. And he was making this distinction about being truly in trouble or aware, and how much we really should panic in response to that. And the joke was really funny. It was like on a late night show or something like that. And it was really risky to see it today or to repeat this on air. And I have no harsh feelings towards anybody. The situation was ridiculous in my case. The comedian was recanting a story about something that came up in his life.
Yeah.
Now,
one guy, like
Kanye
one person
West
does a TikTok video and
yeah.
the world stops.
Yeah, well, so Kanye West doing this interview right now, and we're talking about it still. I think this is one of those crazy moments in time that I think we'll all remember, and that's why I asked you at the opening. Where were you when you heard? I was traveling to work. I'm on a train, and my friend, a friend of the station, actually, a good friend, he texted me, "Have you seen this?" And he sends me the link, and I've got my earbuds on, and I'm watching the interview, and I'm astounded. Oh my God, what are you doing, Kanye? Shush! Stop it!
Actually, I just remembered where I was.
Yeah.
I was in the room patting the elephant with Dave Chappelle. Mate, it's been an amazing week. Incredible.
Oh my goodness. So, people, because of the soccer, people are at my work are watching it And like when the Olympics is on, you become the expert. You're watching it. You're yelling like you know every one of the rules. Either you may not, or you may. You may be an expert in the field. But when you get to work, despite not being an expert or being an expert, you've got commentary to share with those other workmates. And I'm watching people with their eyes hanging out of their head, because when it's playing in Qatar, here it's not at all an easy time frame to watch it, because people are getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning and watching the games, and it's really hard, right? Or they're staying up late at night to watch it, right? And then they're coming to work and they're all talking about it, and they turn to me, and I don't care, because I like motor racing, and only a particular brand of motor racing, which is the V8 Supercars. I like watching that, and I watch almost nothing else. Oh, well, I'll watch the Super 2s, and if I'm on trackside, I watch the Porsche Cup and the classics. I like watching all those events, and they're all basically around the same bubble. But I'm not a big Formula One guy, and I don't watch much of the motorbikes, although I think they're really interesting. And I've been trackside at huge events in the past. But I'm really not a soccer guy. I'm not a football guy. If you class them the same thing, I'm not an AFL guy. I'm not a rugby league guy. I'm not a rugby union guy. I'm not a cricket guy. I'm not a bowls guy. I'll watch darts because I think that's fun. But 180. I like when they get 180. But I don't watch anything else. And I'm not going to stand around in a circle and talk to people about a sport which comes up so irregularly that if I was to watch some mid-game somewhere on the planet, anywhere on the planet that's exactly soccer or English football for that matter, watching that, and I watched every moment, and I knew all the players' names, which I don't. If I even knew the team names, which I don't,
yeah,
or where they're from.
All right, here's the kicker with that.
Yeah.
You've just gave me 5 minutes of things you don't like, which would lead to nowhere because you're not into them. So our conversation would be mute. So we got to find common ground. Now, I have been watching the World Cup, and I'm fascinated by their symbol. It looks like two snakes, but of one snake body attacking each other. Look at it. It's a ribbon.
The symbolism is crazy.
And just the other night, America played and lost, and then Australia played straight after and lost. So the two white nations, red, white, and blue, both collapsed together on the same night, symbolically.
But we're not out of the game yet, right?
Yeah, we're done for.
We're out.
Yeah.
We're out. Okay, yeah.
Argentina beat us.
Yay!
I think that means we're out. And guess who beat us? Guess who saved Argentina? The Messiah, Lionel Messi, Messiah. So he's been a player for Code in my world for a couple of years. More so recently because we're in the year of the tiger, the big cat. He's got a lion in his name. England play tomorrow. France play tomorrow. Red, white, and blue teams. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Japan's still in. South Korea's still in. The Asians. Then you've got Switzerland, Croatia for the Whiteys. France, Poland still there. Morocco, Spain, Portugal for the Brownies. So there's still time. Thanks, Dave, for having me, by the way. This has been cute.
Did you know the TikTok time traveler who claims to know who's going to win the World Cup?
Another one? Jeez.
Yeah. This one's really good. So the craze for the 2022 FIFA World Cup is increasing, and this time traveler suggested on TikTok, and he goes by the name of World Cup Time Traveler, so double L, and he claims that he went forward in time, shot the video during the tournament, and can now reveal who is going to take home the trophy. He says that Italy would beat England in the 2020 European Championship, played in, hang on, where does he say? Oh, he says 3 days ago, the user posted Brazil would beat France in the 2022 World Cup final, Time Traveler would further claim that he had a clip of the match. He does say who, like the teams that win, the team that won, and the players that contributed to their goals as well, the player names, and how many goals. And I think that's extraordinary. If he gets it, man, that's right on the money.
Who did he say?
I
You're going to leave us hanging.
I can't remember.
$50 and whoever TikTok said.
Yeah, there you go. But you'll find it yourself if you have a look.
They got that octopus who swims to each side of the tank.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, they had that guy. So
yeah.
And he had like a 95% accuracy rate. Probably calamari now.
Calamari, yeah, that's it. Well, he's in an octopus stir fry, right? That's what it is. You'll find it. It's posted everywhere. I think on the 29th, right? 28th to 29th of this November. He posted.
I'll have a look later.
But there's the end of the show already. My goodness me. This has been David Meckie's Shiny Side Out with guest Pony, who held up the fort for Meckie. And coming up next is Jer Bear with his awesome show, After Hours. Take a listen. See you next week.
Bye.